All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at a rifle that came out about a year and a half ago, and it really hasn't it hasn't gained that much traction. It doesn't seem. There's been a few different things I think that played a part in that, but that is the IWI Carmel. So little bit of confusion on this rifle when it started development and whatnot. If you want, go to Military Arms channel. He does a really good job explaining the history. Um, and that has the research I've done. That's the what I've found to be the case. So essentially, this started roughly about 10 years ago, as might have even been longer ago than that, as an IWI in Israel as a new replacement rifle for the Tavor. I believe it started off as a 7.62 by 39 rifle that they were looking for military contracts, and basically just never came to fruition. They made some prototype models, which definitely caused some confusion today, but essentially IWI USA took that rifle, that design, and basically brought it to something that they put into production. So that is what we ended up with today. And I won't bore you with all of the boring facts or specifications or anything, but real quick, it is a 16-inch barrel. It is a short stroke gas piston system. So this is going to be very similar to the CZ Brand 2, Sig Spear, things like that, in terms of what it's competing against. So to start, this rifle has had a pretty slow start in the market. I don't think this has really taken off that well. These are pretty easily readily available, and I don't think that many people have gravitated towards it. It is a little bit of a different looking rifle. I like it personally. However, it definitely looks different than your standard AR-15. And even some of the other piston designed guns. So just giving some background, I have shot some other piston guns, and including I did have a CZ Bren 2 that was an 11-inch pistol variant. So I kind of had something to gauge as far as comparison with this. So what I'll start out with are some things that a lot of people really think about this gun. The first thing is it's big, it's really thick, and that is true. It is a very chunky design. Um, the handguard is very tall, very tall. So you can't get a more traditional grip on the handguard that you normally would. So it doesn't bother me, but some people do not like that. The receiver, everything, this is all one top monolithic rail up top here. So the rail starts back here, and it doesn't actually go all the way to the front. It actually ends up here. So actually where this front sight post is on a different portion. Essentially this top rail is one piece that goes all the way out to here. And then this hand guard, as you can see, kind of starts down low here and then goes up top. And then it kind of ends up here as far as the top portion, if that makes sense. So it's not all the way to the end, but it's most of the way. And that's going to be a big advantage if you want to mount IR lasers, things like that up front here, further up on the rail, LPVOs, things like that. So you don't have that issue with AR-15 where you have your bridging optics or things like that. So it is a big rifle. What I will say, the first thing that I noticed, most piston guns in general are going to be heavier, and this one's no exception. It's a little over 8 pounds versus a standard 16-inch AR-15 is going to be more around that 6.5 pound mark, and you do notice that. I believe the CZ Bren is around 7 pounds. So this is got some weight on its competition. What I will say is this is not as front heavy as some of those others. It's actually pretty well balanced front to back. There is a little more weight out front here, but overall, it's actually pretty well balanced front to back. So you will notice I just have some flip up iron sights, and then in some of the videos you'll see I did have a primary arms 3x optic on here, and that is a very heavy optic. And what it was doing was my balance front to back was even better because I had some weight back here that was counterbalancing a little bit of that front heaviness. However, what it was doing, there was so much weight up top here that this rifle really wanted to roll. I felt like I was really having to stabilize this rifle to keep it upright. So that was my biggest complaint as far as shooting this rifle. I think you're going to have to be careful what you mount up top here because of the thickness of everything and the fact that this is a polymer lower. There is a lot of weight that is up high on this rifle. Right now, as it stands, this is unloaded magazine. We are clear, I will show you. As it stands like this, or with a lightweight optic, which I am going to put something different on here, it's very well balanced. It's a very well balanced rifle. They actually did a very good job. One of my bigger concerns with this before getting it, and I was able to handle this a couple times before I picked it up, was the amount of polymer on the gun. There is a lot of polymer. However, I do believe to keep the weight down, keep it reasonable, I think that was a good choice. And honestly, it's very well built. The receiver, the parts, the lower, it's all very, it's very solid. It's all there is metal reinforcement underneath the polymer. So it's really just sections. It's really just the top. What you see, that's polymer. Everything underneath is very solid. This is not, I heard somebody refer to it as feeling kind of like an airsoft gun. That's not really the case. It's a very solid rifle, and certainly nothing that's going to break. It's going to be able to take some abuse. Next complaint that I want to address that some people are having, I personally don't mind it, I actually like it, was the folding stock. A lot of people said that it was kind of difficult to close. You do have to give it a little bit of a snap, not a big deal. Honestly, I don't really fold this up very much. What I do like compared to some of the other rifles out there, like the Palmetto State Jackal, things like that, that have polymer plastic retention. This is a metal latch, and then where it catches is metal as well. And that is also part of the takedown. So very solid stock on here. Not no play in it. I mean, it's very solid, very easily adjustable, and it is numbered so you can kind of see where that lays. Does have a comb height here. I don't really use that. I will say that is the one part of this rifle that does feel a little chintzy. When you raise it up really high like this, I don't know why you would have it all the way to the top. It does move around, and it is a solid piece of plastic, but it's not something that I would really use. So I just keep it down low, never really think about it. The other aspect of this that I didn't think I would care that much about, but I actually do really like, is it is essentially a fully, truly ambidextrous rifle. So we have mag release over here, like we normally would. We also have it back here. We have a bolt release and bolt catch on both sides, and they're very easy to operate. Dust cover, I probably could have done without. It's fine that it's there, but if they ever make some updates to this rifle, I would say they could probably do away with the dust cover. I feel like most of the other short stroke gas piston guns don't have one. I don't feel it's really necessary. Doesn't hurt it being there, but to me, it stays open all the time. As far as the grip, that is changed. That you can change that out to any standard AR-15 grip. I put a Magpul XL. I believe it's a K2 on there. It comes with a B5 systems grip, which I do really like. I actually put that on an AR of mine. However, it's a very thin grip, or it's a thinner profile grip. And I found when I had that optic on there, and this was kind of rolling around on me, I thought a thicker grip would help get a little better purchase on the rifle, and it does. So beyond that, I will say takedown maintenance wise, very easy. You don't have to take the lower off to clean it. However, if you do want to take the lower off, there is a single pin down here. It is a little tight. You definitely have to, you might have to get a punch or something to kind of drive that through. Lower comes off. Simple as that. Most of the parts down here on the lower are proprietary. So trigger is going to be the Carmel trigger. You're not going to be able to change that out. The breakdown is very simple. I will not show it on camera, but there are videos out there showing how to do it. So essentially, there's a plate here with 2 pins. You pull that out. It's actually pretty easy to pull out. And then basically everything comes out the back. Very simple, and it's actually a very good design in my opinion. So as far as shooting, this rifle does shoot very well. It doesn't recoil heavy or anything like that. It's about how you would expect a 5.56 gun to operate. Doesn't jump around a whole lot. I think that extra weight helps that a little bit. Very pleasant to shoot. Does have a pencil profile barrel, and I think some people, a lot of people don't like that. However, I would say that I actually like that they went with that because it keeps some of that front heaviness to a minimum. This gun does not want to tip forward too much like some other piston guns. There are gas settings on here, and this is one thing I would like to see them change in the future. I have not shot this suppressed yet. I'm still waiting for my suppressor to come in. However, I would like to see a few more settings on here. I don't think it has to be crazy. I believe the CZ Bren has 4, and I think that would be a good option to go with if you want a fairly simple suppressor or excuse me, gas adjustment. So as it sits, it is just regular and then suppressed. You can change it on both sides. Very easy to change. You can literally stick anything in there and just flip it up and down if you want to change that. So I think I covered most of what I want to cover with this rifle. I think for most people, you're going to want to be probably mounting something lighter up here. A lot of people do LPVOs on this. I don't think the idea behind that looks okay or sounds okay. However, piston guns in general are not going to be as accurate as AR-15s. AR-15s just have fewer parts. They are going to be more accurate rifles in general. Not to say this is inaccurate. However, this is not going to be a sub MOA gun. It might even struggle to be a sub 2 MOA gun. So the accuracy's been fine. I have not bench rested it to see how tight of groups I can get. I've shot it out to about 75 yards. It has been perfectly fine for what I believe I would consider this more of a battle rifle. So think your FALs, Galils, things like that. That is more so what this is in line with. This is not a pinpoint accuracy firearm. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for just all-out accuracy, I would probably go with an AR-15. However, if you are looking for something a little different, if you want something that is going to be a little easier to suppress, keep those gases out in front, also have adjustable gas, I would say that this is a good option to look at. So would I recommend this over an AR-15? I think if it's going to be your first, uh, semi-automatic rifle, probably not. I don't think most people would recommend that just because the availability, you can get a very duty grade AR-15 for the same or for much less than what this costs. Given that this is an IWI, even though it is newer, I have not heard of any reliability issues on this, and this has been totally reliable for me. I have a couple hundred rounds through this and shooting a few different kinds of ammo, and I have had no issues. I haven't heard of anybody else having issues. In my opinion, this would be probably a battle ready rifle if it needed to be. So If it was from a different company, I might not say that, but IWI has been making battle-proven rifles for a very long time, and I don't think that this would be any different. As far as there's some confusion as far as where this rifle comes from. It's an IWI, but is it an Israeli weapon? Is it a US firearm? What is it? So I actually contacted IWI, and essentially the core parts of this are made in Pennsylvania in their factory there. I believe they said the barrel, um, and the bolt and some of the other main components were made in the USA, but some of this does come from Israel. So you will see on here, I don't know if the camera will focus that close or not. It does just say IWI Israel and then IWI Middletown, Pennsylvania. The box also says that it is made in USA and Israel. So kind of a blend of where this is manufactured. The internals, I have not personally seen the internals of a Tavor, but from everything I've read and seen, the internals of this are very similar to a Tavor, which that has been a battle-proven rifle for quite a while now. I think the last thing that I will address is the recall on this. I've heard some people comment that because of the recall, they would not consider this. So let me just give you a rundown of what the recall actually was. It was on the firing pin blocker, and there were no reported issues from anybody who had already purchased this, and I don't think anyone has ever had issues since if they did not have that fixed. So essentially, IWI just said, hey, probably notification from manufacturer, something like that, that there might have been an issue with that. And it wasn't even that it was going to break, it just was maybe not going to last as long as they would like. So issued a recall. You could send it back for free. You could send it back for free, and that they would just take care of it. Even if you do buy it brand new, even if it does fall within the range that were affected, most of the dealers already took care of that recall, which was the case with this one. I knew about it beforehand. I actually did not check before I purchased it. The serial number check on that is very simple. You basically just go to their website, go to the recall section, type in the serial number, and it'll tell you if it's been taken care of or not. This one had been, so it really wasn't a big deal for me, and it wasn't something I was really all that worried about to begin with. So as I use this more, I will give more updates. But I wanted to take a video or make a video on this just because this rifle really hasn't been getting a lot of attention, and I think that it should. Time will tell if it's something that catches on and stays in production for a while or not, but we will see. You know, you currently can get a fair amount of parts on IWI's website, so there is some support for it. IWI is just a very solid company, so I don't think you have any worries there as far as that goes. So if you have the Carmel or you're thinking about getting it, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And if you have any more questions on it, I'll probably be making future videos, especially once I get a different optic mounted on here. But for now, I'm perfectly fine just running some iron sights on here. And yeah, let me know what you think of it. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, I am back. There's going to be a little bit of a cut in the video here because there were a couple things that I did not mention on my first take of this. So this might be a part 2 in the same video. So there are two things I wanted to address that I didn't originally. And one is the trigger, and then the other one are the handguard screws. And if I go squirrel on a couple other thoughts while we do that, that may happen too. So just bear with me. So first the trigger, I will take the magazine out and show that we are clear. So the trigger on this is, it is proprietary, so you won't, as of now, they don't make any other triggers that you can swap this out with. However, this one is actually very good, the factory trigger. It is a 2-stage trigger, and it has a very nice brake. And there's only one little qualm I have about it, and it's pretty minor, and that is the reset is not very forceful. So one of my favorite triggers that I have in my AR is a LaRue 2-stage, and what I like about that is because it has a nice crisp brake. It's pretty fairly light trigger. However, it does force your finger forward after you pull it, and the reset forces your finger forward a little bit. So it's very easy if you're shooting fast. This does not do that so much, but that could change when I put some more rounds through it. So again, we're clear. I will kind of show you the trigger. It is a nice 2-stage. The take up is the initial take up is very light and fairly short. It's not that long, really, in my opinion. The brake, very crisp. I would say it's around 4.5, 5 pounds. Mine seems to be a little lighter than some of the others. I would say mine's probably closer to the 4-pound mark. So reset is pretty quick, but again, it doesn't really force your finger forward. That may change as this breaks in more, but it is very short. It's very tactile feeling, and it is audible. So when you're running the gun, it's pretty simple. You might see in one of the videos, I actually had not reset it yet. I thought the trigger did reset. However, I checked to see if there was a malfunction. There wasn't. I just hadn't pulled my finger forward, and that's just part of getting used to the gun. It's not necessarily a complaint. So the second thing I did want to point out, and I might put some pictures in here, but you probably saw when I was initially talking about, I got some white witness marks on the hand guard. Now, I believe there are 3 screws holding in the hand guard. There's 2 on the side and then 1 on the bottom. I did not put a witness mark on the bottom one. So I had heard beforehand that these were not all that tight from the factory. In all honesty, with any rifle, you need to check this. It doesn't matter the manufacturer. Some people are going to make a big deal and say, oh, you shouldn't have to do anything. If this is something that you are going to want to trust your life with, go through the gun. It's not a big deal to put some Loctite on some screws, torque them down. These 2 handguard screws did start coming loose while I was shooting. Actually, one of the videos when I was replaying it, I was for some reason looking at these and I could see them backing out. And so I went down, looked at the gun, and sure enough, they had backed out probably quarter turn or so. The handguard wasn't loose yet, but I did notice that, which is why I put witness marks on them. Side note, my AR-15, it's an Aero Precision upper directly from the factory. It's a great upper. Has handguard screws into the barrel nut. One of them actually started coming loose, and I only knew that because I put witness marks. So put witness marks on key screws on your rifle. Any rifle can do this. Manufacturer doesn't matter. But these do seem like they didn't tighten them down from the factory. Wasn't a big deal. Put some Loctite on there, tighten them both down, and they should be good to go. So I did want to cover that. The other couple things I wanted to cover, I kind of glossed over. The stock I will go back to. It is a polymer stock, and it does have a polymer hinge. However, the actual hinge down in there is a big, beefy roll pin. I believe it's a roll pin. I don't think it's not just a solid metal pin. It's very solid. This is a very solid stock. And I did say that, but the hinge I wanted to point out, that was one of my big concerns with it being polymer. The hinge is, it's very beefy. It's very thick. I would not expect this to break at all. So yeah, just some follow-up comments on the rifle. There will be more videos to come in the future with this. If you guys want to see anything specific, let me know. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Thank you.